One of my favorite adult animated TV shows has always been The Oblongs.
It's a school for the pathologically high-spirited. Now, pack up your books and your muzzle and let's go.
Yet despite the years of reruns the show had on Adult Swim, I was surprised to find out how short its lifespan actually was, and the rather odd history behind it all. With that said, let's talk about what happened to The Oblongs. When I was a kid, I'll be honest and say I had a triforce of channels that I watched religiously. Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and Cartoon Network. All had banger daytime programming, and screw you if you don't think so. Kidding, please subscribe. But late night programming was where these entertainment Goliaths truly varied. First, Disney... No, they didn't have adult programming, they just played reruns of old shows they had. Nickelodeon changed it up with Nick at Night, having syndicated a bunch of live-action sitcoms to play. I got my Steve Urkel fix then. But Cartoon Network? They have Adult Swim, and it starts at 8 p.m. So when I was an energetic 9-year-old who had just gotten a TV in his bedroom for the first time, it didn't take me long to run into this classic black screen. Cartoon Network executives were like, how can we make sure kids won't stay tuned in for the risque shows? We'll make them read! Kids hate that! Thankfully, that trick didn't work on me. And all they played back when I first watched it was adult animated cartoons. They had a good amount of original comedies, with a few of my favorites being The Boondocks and Moral Oral. What can I say? I like me some social commentary. They also had anime playing too, before they split it off into its own section, like Yu Yu Hakusho and Death Note. Though the real big fellas at the time were the shows syndicated from Fox, like Family Guy and Futurama. That's why they got played first. But there was always one other show that I thought competed on the same level as those two. And that's Assy McGee. No, it's not. It's the Oblongs, I was kidding. I just started going on a rant about how much I love Assy McGee. I don't want to dive into the show until we discuss its creator and what led up to him getting his own show, because dude's an interesting guy to say the least. David Adam Walker is a writer and illustrator from Sacramento, California. He was born to a preschool teacher mother and a surgeon father. An outcast as a child, Walker was bullied and physically tormented by his school peers. He would find comfort in art though, drawing constantly and gradually forming his own style, relating to the weird and the misfortunate. He was accepted into art school at the University of California, Berkeley, but dropped out before graduating to pursue his own dream. He didn't want to work for someone else, but create his own material. Something I think a lot of us can relate to. So Walker kept his nose on the grindstone and by 1999 had 13 books written. At least, he called them books. They were more like illustrated short stories, and despite his efforts, the writer was unable to hook a publisher to back him. Undeterred, he decided to self-publish his works. He sold them as a collection for $20 online and through local bookstores. And because Walker was publishing out of his own pocket early on, these first copies were basically just a bunch of pamphlets he had fashioned together. After gaining popularity with the Oblongs cartoon though, the book would be republished in 2004 by Ballantine Books as Creepy Susie and 13 Other Tragic Tales for Troubled Children. This allowed us common folk the chance to check out the raw creations from the mind behind the Oblongs. It's a fun, quick read with a unique, somewhat newspaper comic-esque style, and a dark, twisted, even downright macabre sense of humor. And there's even recognizable faces from the cartoon like Milo, Helga, the Debbies, and Creepy Susie, of course. The young writer's hard work would not be in vain though, since an agency out in Beverly Hills would reach out to represent him. With extra attention coming in from the media, David Adam Walker began sporting clown makeup and a bulbous red nose. The man had evolved into a new persona, now referring to himself as Angus Oblong. Once Angus arrived in LA, a bidding war commenced on who would turn his book into a televised program. Apparently 3 channels wanted a swing in his work: Fox, the WB, and Disney. However, I couldn't imagine this property being picked up by Disney. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess Disney does know a thing or two about tragic tales for troubled children, right? Yeah, Lindsay, Shia, Kyle? In the end, it would be the WB that would win. The WB, a now defunct network since 2006, was responsible for shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Smallville, and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. As for animation, what did they have? Ew. Not much. I mean, they're all fine shows, but with The Simpsons having already been going strong for 10 years on Fox and Futurama and Family Guy just getting out of the gate, that's some tough competition. And let's not forget that South Park has now been going on for a couple years on Comedy Central. Hindsight is telling me that maybe Fox should have won the bidding war. With an entire team from the WB now backing Angus, he was forced to rework some of his stories to fit normal TV show guidelines and formatting, and these reworks would not be painless. One change that had to be made was shifting focus from the Clubhouse kids, who Angus wanted to be the focal point of the show, to Milo and his family, Milo being just one of the Clubhouse kids.
The network took me aside and said that it should be about the family. We should concentrate more on Pickles, Bob, the twins, Milo, and Beth.
Also, Creepy Susie, being a favorite of Angus's, obviously, was intended to have a larger role in the show and a family of her own, even a pet.
Lawrence and Jeff here. This is him from the front, from behind, and there's a side view.
Additionally, there was supposed to be another Clubhouse kid that was scrapped from the show altogether. It was a sad clown boy who carries around a balloon. I see a bit of a self-insertion there. And those are just a few of the gripes that went on record. After leaving the writer's room, Angus would report that only 10% of his vision actually made it through. He had trepidations, but being the illustrator that he was, once he got to work with the animation team, Angus began vibing with the production more. So how did the show turn out? A quick summary to lay the groundwork. The Oblongs is a show about, big shocker, the Oblong family. But they are no ordinary family. They live in the valley, an area that has been contaminated by chemical dumpage, thus leaving all its inhabitants, including them, disabled or deformed in some way. Aside from the valley, there's also an area called the Hills, which is where the affluent people, unaffected by the dumpage, live. Oh yeah, and the people living up on the hills are also responsible for the waste dumpage. The theme song actually explains all this nicely, but I really don't want to get copyright copyright striked for playing it. Tidbit about the band, They Might Be Giants, the ones responsible for the Oblongs theme song. Not only have they won 2 Grammys, but they were additionally nominated for a Tony for Best Original Score for SpongeBob SquarePants, the Broadway musical. Pull that fun fact out at your next get-together. In the Oblong family, we have Bob, the chipper 1950s style father who has no limbs, but he remains optimistic nonetheless. There's Pickles, the chain-smoking alcoholic mother. She formerly lived in the hills, but after falling in love with Bob, moved to the valley where all her hair fell out. They have 3 children, Milo, the middle child, who's afflicted with a plethora of mental and social disorders, but is still a kind person. Biff and Chip are the conjoined twin older brothers who are jocks. And then there's Beth, the soft-spoken angel with a warty growth protruding from her head. Another significant group of characters are the aforementioned Clubhouse kids, aka Milo's friends. Helga Fugly is an obese toad girl who is loud and overbearing. Creepy Susie is the depressed deadpan goth girl obsessed with death.
Drowning is my 3rd favorite way to die.
Peggy is the cheerful optimist, despite only having 1 boob and lacking a lower jaw.
I can't wait to get to school and resume learning.
And lastly, we have Mikey, the thick boy with terrible luck.
Hey, I found my mom's car keys in my butt flaps.
One final pack of characters that we should open are the Hill residents, who usually act as the antagonists for plots. Well, at least one family in particular, the Climbers. We have George Clymer. He's snobby, emotionless, and often condescending to the valley dwellers. He's also the owner and boss of the factory that Bob works at. George is married to Pristine Clymer, who used to be best friends with Pickles before she moved to the valley. Now Pristine just makes snide remarks anytime that she runs into Mama Oblong. The Clymers have 2 children, Jared, the arrogant bully of the Clubhouse kids who can probably be found with his best friend Blaine, and their daughter Debbie. She is known as the most popular and prettiest girl in the school, along with her best friends that look just like her, and are also named Debbie. The Debbies as they are called.
Hi, Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Debbie.
But none of the Debbies are related, by the way. Oh yeah, and Helga Fugly is convinced that she's friends with the Debbies and looks just like them. There's plenty more intriguing characters to experience that I didn't mention, but that gives you a gist of the working character dynamics in the show. If you couldn't tell, the show plays with a theme of wealth disparity, the haves and the have-nots. To me, that's a topic that's still hot and fresh to this day, if not more. That probably attributes to why the show's made such a lasting impact on me. Another aspect of the Oblongs that made it a respectable show was the writing. Its raunchiness never really stooped to being overtly crass. I know I was too young when I first caught this show, but I never felt like, whoa, I really know I shouldn't be watching this now, like how I could sometimes with Family Guy or South Park. Also, the warmth of the Oblong family and how much they cared for each other was palpable. The cartoon lacked the nihilism that you might expect from a property based on tragic tales for troubled children. I gelled with the humor so much, I quote the show to this day.
Son, you know you're forbidden to handle anything sharper than a boiled egg.
The animation was distinctive too, thanks to Angus's unique art style inspired by distorting characters from the Dick and Jane books. I doubt you can find another animation that resembles this one. The character designs are just so insane and unhinged. It's baffling that the show is down to earth and not super jail. And the Oblongs is given life through some of the best voice casting. And that's not even a subjective opinion. The Oblongs won an Artios Award in 2001, which is given out by the Casting Society of America. To put that in perspective, other shows going out for Best Animated Voiceover TV Casting were The Rugrats and Hey Arnold, and Lost Media favorite, Sammy. For starters, you've got Will Ferrell as Bob. We haven't gotten Ferrell doing a ton of voiceovers in his career, but when he has, it's been special. Insert Dos Equis meme here. Gene Smart knocks it out of the park as Pickles.
Oops, that's Mommy's June.
I love Pamela Adlon in most of her voice roles, like Bobby Hill, so no surprise she's awesome as Milo.
Hi, Dad. Just thought I'd get some sawing in before breakfast.
I found out that the show decided to actually cast twins to play the conjoined twins of Biff and Chip, and damn, that's why their chemistry is just fire.
Oh, you're lame, doofus! Oh, God!
And the legendary Billy West rocks most of the additional cast. So after me saying all this, the show sounds like it's gonna slap, right? So... The Oblongs aired April 1st, 2001, and would be canceled and pulled from the network by May 20th, 2001, citing low viewership as the reason. This left the final 5 episodes to never air on the WB. Angus said that a fan actually emailed him asking about the show being canceled before an executive had even called him to talk to him about the show being canceled. Ouch! In 2002, Adult Swim would pick up the Oblongs to start airing reruns and finally premiere those 5 unaired episodes. Unfortunately, it wouldn't perform well enough to garner ordering another season though, because it had been an uphill battle the whole time to get his vision realized. What did Angus Oblong do after his cartoon was kaput? In 2005, he wrote, directed, and produced a pilot called Delirious Jen that aired on Comedy Central. That's as far as that endeavor went. He wrote The Victorian Hotel, a play that was produced in 2006, which features many of his characters as puppets. Angus has also self-published a sequel to Creepy Susie titled 13 More Tragic Tales for Ugly Children. That's available on his website. That thing is a hoot. Aside from being able to order original art and books from Angus, you can also order original toys. Classics like set of possessed dolls that walk around your house at night. Set, but I only need one! A Steve Urkel voodoo doll.
Did I do that?
And something just labeled, I made this. Hey, at least he lets you know that all proceeds go to charity. Charity being a hooker. Then under special services, you can have Angus deliver your order from his website to you personally for the price of his hotel, flight, Uber, and $300. He'll also watch the Oblongs with you for the same conditions. Ooh, and then of course, there is the I will stand at the foot of your bed until they wake up package. Just in time for Valentine's Day. It seems it wasn't really hard for Angus Oblong to get back into the swing of that solo grind set. At conventions, he's still proudly peddling the Oblongs DVDs, so he must not feel too disconnected from the show and how it represented his creative vision. It appears as though Angus wouldn't detest the idea of working on the show again.
So what's up with another season of the Oblongs cartoon? Is that ever going to happen? Do you get
Nobody's
that a lot?
greenlit another season yet, so
Perhaps with HBO Max teaming up with Cartoon Network as they are, there's a possibility that we could actually see a reboot of the Oblongs, or maybe even a long-awaited season 2. Is it just me, or is there something about Angus Oblong that just screams untapped potential? In a behind-the-scenes interview, Angus said he was horrified people were responding positively to his characters, because he hates people, and thought he had designed characters that those people would, in turn, hate back. But instead, his characters obtained a fan base, and I'd wager that's due to the fact that the Oblongs does not hate people. It hates privileged people, sure, but it loves and appreciates the flawed people, the damaged people. The Oblong.
I think society might be divided into pretty much 2. There's the cool kids, and then there's the rest of us. I write for the rest of us.
Whoa, thanks for sticking around so long in this video. That was good long one, wasn't it? It was cool though. I had fun doing my research on the Oblongs. Please hit that subscribe button down there if you're still hanging out. Leave a like on this video, that would be awesome. And gonna be putting out more cartoon reviews, video essays, adult animation, regular anim, whatever. You guys tell me in the comments what you want. Leave a comment, let me know what you thought of this one. That'd be awesome. And I'll see you later. I'm excellent, and you're excellent.